Welcome to PhD&D on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about a DM tip on playing off of characters' perceptions. So as a DM, it's usually your job to describe the scene, lay out what a character sees, what a character, lay out their surroundings so that they can make choices and decide to do things. But this tip is going to be playing off of their perceptions, so not exactly telling the truth on the situation around them, but only in extreme and certain cases. So we're going to do 3 examples today. We're going to do something in kind of a diplomatic situation, in a combat situation, which we'll do first, and then in just describing a location and setting a scene, and how you can mess with a character's perceptions to make the game more fun for everyone. So the first situation, the easiest, will be combat. A lot of times in combat, you will have like a villain can do something, or you'll see it a lot in 4th edition where they do an attack, or there's some effect where the player character then attacks an ally. And it may only last 1 round, they may be dominated by this enemy, whatever. You are, instead of telling them the exact situation, going to play off of their perceptions as a character. They fail to save, so now they're dominated, let's say, so the enemy's controlling them. Instead of saying you have to attack a friend, you're dominated, you say make your save, he fails, and then you just keep playing like he's fighting enemies. You don't tell him anything. So the enemy moves up next to you. Alright, well, I'm going to attack him on my turn. He attacks on his turn, but what he didn't know is he is attacking his friend. So he rolls 22 against armor class. You look at the ally he attacked and say, does that hit you? Well, yeah, it hits me, but he's attacking an enemy. No, he's not. You just attacked your friend. And you can break the news to him that way. The thing is, if they're dominated, or usually in these effects, they don't know they're attacking their friend right there. Usually they see it as an enemy. Even if they see their exact ally in their armor, everything they recognize, for whatever reason, whether it's the domination or a curse, that's an enemy to them right then. That's why they attack. So it's just fun. It's more fun to break it up that way and use their perceptions against them a little bit, to kind of hide or almost bring out more of what their character is actually perceiving. So he thinks he's attacking the enemy, and he actually attacks his friend, and then he's like, holy crap, I am dominated. And it's just a little bit more fun that way. So now let's go into a diplomatic situation. Let's say they have to talk to a high king that is an elf. Now, one of your players in their background doesn't like elves. So, if this character is trying to, sense a motive, if he's trying to make an insight check in 4th edition, just trying to really perceive or understand where this elf is coming from, or if he trusts this elf, or if this elf is just trying to deceive them, this player, you can change it mechanically. His perceptions are more than likely going to be biased because he doesn't like elves for whatever reason. So anytime he tries to do something like that, trying to sense a motive, he would be at a disadvantage, or he would take some type of penalty in whatever system you're using, because he has a reason to almost have false perceptions about elves. So you start to see kind of how this works, how you can toy with the perceptions mechanically, narratively, and it can really make things fun. So the last situation, just laying out an area. So you're in a dungeon, for instance, an extreme case, and they've been underground for days, they've had no sunlight, they're low on food, it's been just eerily quiet and dark. That starts to mess with the brain a little bit. That starts to make you hallucinate, or think you heard things, or you thought you saw something, and so you can kind of mess with their perceptions here. Let's say one of your characters has a deep fear of gelatinous cubes. Even if the player of that character is metagaming big time and just says, I hope there's no gelatinous cubes down here, just assume that that player character, for some reason, is scared of gelatinous cubes. Play it off. And so every time, they find a new hallway, they kind of shine their light down this darkened hallway, that player, you can just look at that player and say, you see, kind of a warped reality, almost like a waviness in the air, or a distorted. The wall looks curved at one point and distorted. But make sure you say you see it, because the other players shouldn't be playing off of what he sees anyways. At least they shouldn't make a habit of that. So he might think there's a gelatinous cube there. There might not be. There might be. But that's just a way when you're laying out a scene to play off of his personal perceptions to make the character and that player actually believe something that may not be true, but the perceptions are going to lead them to that. So that's your DM tip for the day. Play off their perceptions. Small disclaimer, you more than likely as a DM did not make that character, so don't assume that you know all of their perceptions, and don't use this in every situation. This is for extreme cases where there's a reason where their perceptions play a strong role in deceiving them or in working against them. So definitely don't make a habit of this, but if used correctly, this can be a very fun thing in your games. So that's your DM tip for the day. Thank you for watching, and have a great week of gaming.